Hi, my name's Brie, and I discovered my love for books from TikTok, which is also referred to as Book Talk. This led me to create my own Book Talk, where I got to share my love for books. Book Talk has definitely done a lot for skyrocketing already popular authors to even more popular, debuting indie published authors into #1 bestsellers, and influencing people to line up at the dead of night for a midnight release of a new popular book. But recently, Book Talk has gotten a lot of backlash, where people are really questioning if the books it popularizes are even worth it. So in this video, I'm going to be reading 4 really hyped up books on Book Talk and let you know if they are worth it. But remember, reading is subjective, and even though I may not like a certain book, it doesn't mean you won't. So as you can tell, we're reading popular Book Talk books, or just popular books in general, for a week, because I have a bunch of books that I need to get through, and setting these little challenges help me tackle my TBR. I've got 4 books here. Probably try and read 4, but I'm quite busy this week, so I'll probably only get to like 3 of them. So first is Addicted to You by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is the first book in, I think it's an 8-book series. I think I've got the first 4. I think went first viral on Bookstagram, and then when Book Talk became a thing, it went popular on there, and I know a bunch of people just absolutely live and breathe this book. And then this is a new book that's been going viral everywhere, and it's a 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. She's the author of The Dead Romantics, which I have not read, which is another popular book. This has literally recently come out this year or late last year, and it's just blown up everywhere. Everyone's reading it, everyone's raving about it. It is extremely popular, so I really want to try and give this a go because it's quite short as well, and it's meant to be an emotional read. And then another author that has been blowing up everywhere is Abby Jimenez, and this is yours truly. This is the most popular one that I've seen going viral everywhere. They say that you have to read Part of Your World first. I am not. I'm just going straight in with this because I know a lot of people have just read this straight off the bat and absolutely loved it. But if you're from America, then I want to be you, because the American version is red and I have this disgusting green one. And then I'm currently in the middle of this book. When I say in the middle, I literally started reading it this morning, but it's Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And if you haven't seen this, then you have been living under a rock. Unless you are new to books in general, then this is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and this blew up last year like no other book I've ever known. It just blew up out of nowhere. It's a duology. The second book is Ruthless Vows, but I started reading it this morning. I'm on page 20. It's going okay so far. I thought it was going to be different to what I expected. Obviously those are your main characters on the front. You've got Iris and Ronan, I think his name is. Yeah, Ronan. And I thought they didn't know each other. I know that they write letters back and forth. I thought they didn't know each other, but they actually work together in the Gazette. Don't know what to expect from this, but they write letters back and forth, but apparently they don't know that they're writing letters to each other, but they work together. There's a slight like magic system in there that I don't fully understand. Like there's a war going on, goddess and a god or something. I'm not 100% sure on the magic system, so I am really excited to read this, and this is going to be like a definite one. Obviously I've started reading this, so it's going to be a definite one that I read. But out of these, I definitely want to read The 7-Year Slip, 110%. And then I guess we'll see at the end of the week if I have time to read either one of these. I think I'll go for yours truly, because I'm in the middle of so many series at the minute, so I really don't want to get into the middle of like a really big series like Addicted to You, because I think it's like an 8-book series, so I don't want to get into the middle of that. But I thought I'd do a little introduction to this vlog, but I'm going to go have some food now, and then I'm going to continue reading Divine Rivals. I was going to say The 7-Year Slip, but it's not, it's Divine Rivals. I am actually tabbing this as well, so I got my little tabs at the ready, because I've recently gotten into annotating. I never used to annotate my books, but now I am annotating, and I've got 2 annotations in there so far. I haven't gone as far as writing in my books yet. Maybe I will. We'll see. I've got some highlighters, so I might highlight a few bits if I feel like they need to be highlighted. Some people think this is a literary masterpiece, then other people think that it is the worst thing to ever be written. We'll see. Day and I am eating this book up. When I tell you I devoured 200 pages yesterday, I just sat there and read 200 pages. I've annotated the shit out of this book. The amount of love that I have for these characters and just the story alone. I've never read a Rebecca Ross book before. I'm falling in love with her writing style. The way Rebecca Ross writes is so beautifully poetic that she could literally write on my tombstone. So a little like a summary of what I know so far. Follows Iris and Roman. I think I said at the start his name was Ronan, but it's Roman with an M. But Iris and Roman, they live two separately different lives. Like, she's poor, he's rich. But even though they're very different, they are also very similar in a lot of ways. Like, they both share the same love for writing and they are actually rivals. They're fighting for the same promotion in the Oath Gazette to be the columnist, I think that's what the job role is. As we see from the start, Iris's brother Forrest has actually gone off to fight in the God's War that's happening in this world. While he's at war, she's writing letters to him with her typewriter, but they don't actually get sent to him. They actually end up in the hands of Roman. Like, for so long, Roman's been getting these letters and he hasn't written back, but one day he decides to write back, and he actually knows it's Iris, but Iris doesn't know that it's him. And I'm up to the bit now where she's like fully gone to the war zone to be a writer, and I'm obsessed with Roman as well. Like, I can already tell it's gonna be a 5-star because I'm obsessed. It's currently 11 a.m, so I'm probably just gonna sit and read the rest of this. Got like 100 pages left. Then I think I'm gonna go in with one of these. I don't know what I want to go in with after I finish reading. I definitely want to read The 7-Year Slip, so I think I might go in with that next. We'll see how I feel at the end of Divine Rivals, but I'm absolutely loving it so far. It's not him. I know it's not him. It's not him. No. Oh my god, what's gonna happen? Brother's very sus right now. He is being very sus. Oh no. That's what the circle was. Oh. It's the end. Oh my god, I have no words to describe this book other than 6 stars, infinite stars. I love this book so much. I feel like I need to go in with Ruthless Foes ASAP, but I can't because it's not a part of this video. I literally tabbed the living shit out of it. Highlighted it so much. I need some time to recover from this, and then we'll decide what we're gonna read next. I've had time to process Divine Rivals. Not fully, mind, like I still need to fully process it, but I really want to start a new book while I get cozy up in bed. But I'm gonna read The 7-Year Slip because I have no reason why. Like, I'm gonna read it at one point, so I may as well read it now, and it's the shortest book out of all of them. This is only don't even think it's literally 326 pages. But I'm gonna try and read as much as I can tonight, obviously because I have work tomorrow, so I'm not gonna be able to read as much. So I can try and at least get like 150 pages done, so I'll be like halfway. That's my plan anyway. So it's currently now Thursday. I worked all day yesterday, so I didn't film anything yesterday, but I have finished the 7-year slip, and I don't even want to say this on the internet. I did not like this one bit. I just don't know. I like the premise of the story, and the story was good, but everything else was not good. I don't know whether it's because I read it after Divine Rivals, but even then I still think I wouldn't have liked it. So I've rated it as 2-star on my Goodreads, because it's definitely not a 3-star, but it's not a 1-star. So I've settled for a 2-star. So if you didn't know anything about this book, then the 7-year slip follows Clementine, who has inherited her aunt's apartment, and she encounters Iwan, who's the male main character, who is like an inspiring chef. So this is also a time traveling romance, which I've never read before, and the premise sounds really good. So obviously Clementine's inherited her aunt's apartment, and the apartment apparently has these like magical abilities, time travel, either 7 years in the past or 7 years in the future. And one day Clementine comes home, she goes to sleep, and she wakes up and she finds Iwan in her apartment, and they have travelled 7 years into the past. And all that just sounds really interesting. Like, it just sounds really interesting and really fun. But somehow I feel like I read a totally different book, because this was not fun and this was not interesting. Like, I feel like I just wasn't invested in the characters. The chapters didn't flow as nicely for me, so I felt like I was just really confused at times. Like, I didn't know where we were, what was going on. I feel like the internal monologue was very jumbled up. It just wasn't good. And another thing that I really didn't like is like that instant love, the insta love trope. I absolutely hate. So that's why it's a 2-star, because even though the premise was really good, it was just terribly executed, in my opinion. I know so many of my friends have absolutely loved this book, and they adored it, and they bawled their eyes out crying, because it does speak about some heavy topics. Like, it speaks about grief, it speaks about depression and things like that. And I usually connect a lot with these kinds of books that speak about those sort of aspects. For this, it just flopped for me, and I am really sad about it. I did really, really, really want to love this. So we've got 2 books left that we can read. We've got Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, or we've got Addicted to You, Kristen Becker Ritchie. I don't know what I want to go with next. I really don't. Do I go with Addicted to You, or do I go with Abby Jimenez? I think I'm gonna let a random number generator decide for me. Book number 1, book number 2. We're gonna spin it again. Oh, book number 2. So we're going with Abby Jimenez, Yours Truly. And this is a really floppy book. Like, I could just read this like this and not have to worry about cracking the spine. But I have seen Abby Jimenez all over my For You page on TikTok. I'm not sure if I have to read Part of Your World first. I know a lot of people say you do, but I don't think you do, because I know a lot of people that have just read Yours Truly and they've loved it. Hopefully I love this. I don't know whether I feel myself going into a bit of a slump, because I've read so many good books this month. Like, I think I've had like 3 5-stars this month so far. But I'm gonna pose you up into bed, because I am not moving from my bed for the rest of the day, and we're gonna read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So I'm 100 pages, just over 100 pages into this, and I'm loving it. Like, I've literally just been sat here for the last like 2 hours just eating the shit out of this book. Just like, the banter is perfect, like too much and it's not too cringy, it's like perfect. And the representation of like Jacob's anxiety in this is perfect. Like, as a girly who suffers really bad with social anxiety, the way that this is portrayed is so relatable, and I have never related to a book so much. I'm loving it so much, and Jacob is such a sweetheart. Like, he is so cute. I just want to give him a big hug. But yeah, I thought I'd just like update you on where I am and how much I'm absolutely loving this book. Like, at the minute, because of how perfect like the anxiety is being portrayed and represented in this book, and it's talked about. Usually I find that authors just add something. I've read some books where one of the female main characters might have ADHD, but it's not really portrayed in the best way, and it's sort of just been put there just for a bit of substance and just to add a bit of content to it, and just to make it like just to fluff up the book a bit. And like the same with anxiety, I feel like characters say like, oh, I've got anxiety, or I've got this, I've got that, but it's never really like delved into, and we never really get like the internal monologue of how they're struggling, how they deal with things. And this is doing exactly that, and it's doing it in such a perfect way. Yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now because I could ramble on about this, but at the minute it's sitting at like a 4.5, 5-star even. So I finished Yours Truly. I have to say, I adore this book with every piece of me. Like, I love this book, and it was a great way to like jump into Abby Jimenez's like books. It was so perfect, and if the rest of her books are like this, then I know I'm gonna love them. This is like a 6 out of 5. I just love this so much. Like, from the very first page, I was hooked on Jacob and Brianna's story, and the way that Abby Jimenez, I mentioned her like in the last clip, I think, or a clip before, the way that she tackles like the anxiety that Jacob is suffering from and the overthinking, she does it so well, and it really got me like hooked, and I could relate to it so much as a girl who suffers really badly with anxiety. They were so real, like the instances that were described in here were so real, and they were things that I do in my everyday life, and like I didn't even think that I did these things until I read them, and I was like, oh my god, I actually do this. And that is my anxiety just at its peak, and I'm just like, it just makes me realise that I'm not the only one, and I know that there's so many other people out there who suffer with anxiety, who can't go to new places without googling them, without looking at them on the map, who can't send a text without retyping it out 1,000 different times. Like, and it's just like the way that these things were like represented and portrayed in here were just amazingly well done. And for the romance side of things, like Jacob and Brianna, like, the slow burn that they had, it was the perfect amount of slow burn. It wasn't too slow and it wasn't too fast. And when they finally kissed, I went feral. I literally went feral. But Saturday, so I got 2 more days left. Obviously I finished this yesterday when I was in work. I didn't film anything yesterday, but I'm working again tomorrow, so I'm thinking out loud right now. So I could like, I'm gonna film today obviously because I'm gonna be reading this next, but I've had the best reading week. Like, I've read a book every like 2 days more or less. It's 360 pages, so I will tackle the majority of this today, and I'll probably finish off tomorrow. Later. I'm on page 118, chapter 12. I've just downloaded it on my Kindle so I can read in bed, because for some reason throughout the day, even though I've had like all day to read, I've been really struggling to read because I don't know why, but my anxiety is just like right there for some reason, and I don't know what I'm anxious about. But you know, if you're an anxious girly then you understand, but like my chest has just felt like really heavy all day. I haven't been able to concentrate. I've like picked off all my nails and I don't even know what I'm anxious about. There's like nothing going on, and that's what stresses me out even more. I haven't read that much. I thought like my plan for today was to literally get like at least halfway through, because I've had all day to read. I've literally had all day, but things get in the way and you just can't help it. But yeah, I'm gonna try and like read a little bit while I'm in bed. I don't think I'm gonna read too much. I'll probably read like another 2 or 3 chapters while I'm laying in bed. Try and get up to page like 150 maybe, and then I'm just gonna try and have a sleep. So it's been a few days since I last filmed my clip. I can't remember what the last clip I filmed was. I think it was me saying that I had to go to bed because I felt really anxious, and it's been like that for the last like 2 days, so it's taken me a while to get through this. I've been reading for over a week, but I finally finished Addicted to You, and I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like I might settle on like a 3.5 or like a 3.75. I feel like it wasn't 4-star, but I did really enjoy it. But I just think it was a lot of like repetitiveness, and I don't really know what to expect for the other 3 books series. But I think maybe because this is like the initial book, it's just the introduction, like the series might get better, because I know people absolutely love this series. I just don't think this is many people's favourite, and I don't think it would be one of mine. So I'm hoping the series gets better. I am going to continue with the series. I think they're just really bad for each other, like really bad, and I just don't see how they could ever have like a healthy and happy relationship. I really don't, because they are so triggering to each other. They just bring out the worst in each other. I don't know, it was just really, I think maybe if I wasn't in the mood I was in as well, because I was just really anxious for the last few days. So I think I might have enjoyed it a bit more, because it is a really heavy book. All in all, I did enjoy it, and I'm going to carry on with the series. So these are all the books I read this week, and I had an amazing time, other than the 7-year slip. But I feel like we had a good reading week. We discovered 2 5-stars, which I can't stop thinking about still to this day. I'm still thinking about Divine Rivals and Yours Truly, even though it's only been a week since I've read them. So even though these are overhyped, and like these are some people's 5 stars, bar these, because these are my 5 stars. So even though these are really overhyped, and there's some people's 5 stars, ride or die, reading is subjective. And just because I didn't like them, you may love them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe down below and give it a thumbs up as well, and all the other YouTubey stuff that I always ask you to do. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!